behind the scenes, apparently, the president is expressing his concern. In fact, to apparently, according to sources, this is based on a story in the New York Times, that he has specifically told his acting chief of staff, Mick Mulvaney, after he watched some of this recent coverage of the shutdown, that he was uncomfortable and that, quote, "we are getting crushed," unquote. Again, coming from the New York Times. But he also apparently asked, this is interesting to me, quote, "why can't we get a deal?" unquote. Now, this is, again, from the man who is supposed to be the best deal maker in the country, Mr. Art of the Deal. Why can't we get a deal? Well, you're not actually trying to get a deal. You just keep inviting people over for PR opportunities. Making a deal means making a deal, actually moving your number or asking for other things or changing you keep working. To just pick a number and put a stake in the sand, in the ground, and that's not making a deal. But don't take my word for it. Ann Coulter did a Vice interview with on HBO. That's the name of the show. I think it's 2 days ago now, and was asked specifically about this. Here's what she said.
Trump has already given up. I mean, I'm sorry that it turns out he's the worst negotiator God ever created, but that's where we are.
I thought he was a great negotiator. He was a great businessman.
Turns out that was exaggerated.
That's what he's hearing in his head every night before he goes to sleep right now. He's like, oh, how do I change her mind? How do I change her mind? We're getting crushed here. Why can't we get a deal? Ann Coulter just said why, although I also learned a technique for future radio shows, which is just to repeat a word a lot of times. I think that's a good idea. Up, 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 up. He has given up. Ann Coulter, who has written books about why Trump is amazing. I think one of her books from 2016 was like In Trump We Trust, is saying he's the worst negotiator God ever created. That's a quote. And turns out that his ability to be a great negotiator and make great deals was overrated. So and exaggerated. So I think we're seeing that. I mean, when you are a bully and you have actual power as a bully, you can get things done. But when you're a bully and you don't have actual power, when no one is taking your bullying seriously, no. The public's not with them on this. I was talking to a friend of mine who is out work right now because of the government shutdown, who is furloughed. And in fairness, this is a friend of mine who is a Democrat, but she's also been out of work for some time now. And she said, I want to go back to work. And yes, this is a struggle. I mean, luckily, she has enough savings that she's okay for right now. But she said, I'm with the Democrats here. I don't think they should give in. And I think that is still the overriding feeling by a lot of folks, that the president isn't actually negotiating. Nancy Pelosi was also asked about that. Why isn't she coming to the table? She's been asked about it many times. And this morning in her press conference, she said, what table are we not coming to? We have come to the table multiple times. When we're asked, I have not told anyone in my caucus not to go to the White House when invited. They are going. Now, some didn't the other day, but plenty are going. Yes, just yesterday, some Democratic senators sat down with some Republican senators. So it's not like the Democrats aren't having discussions, but they're not willing to give $5.7 billion for a wall with no further information about what that wall is, where it goes, how does the 5.7 pay for it, what other money is going to be needed later. They're not doing it. And so until President Trump offers something else up or changes his tune in a more detailed fashion, I don't see how this comes to an end. I still argue, and I'm going to keep saying it day after day after day, it's the Senate that could solve this problem. And the Senate really is just griping. They're not doing anything. Mitch McConnell.